We have no guest. We have no explanations. We're on the brink of Armageddon, according to some people. We've got red heifers in Israel. We've got comets and no comets, I guess, eclipses and a bunch of Nineveh towns. But nevertheless, all we have for Theology Thursday is some video. Take it away.
God almost certainly does not exist. But if it does, and it is all-knowing, meaning it knows everything that ever was.
Put a pause here. These libs insist that I respect everybody's preferred pronouns. Even the biggest, hairiest, hulking dude, even if he's wearing men's clothing, he doesn't even need to be wearing a dress. If he says, I'm a woman.
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
It is ma'am. These libs tell me I am obligated to call him she and her. And yet, when God very clearly describes his preferred pronouns, he and him, this guy refuses to accept them, and he depersonalizes God and refers to God disrespectfully as it. Keep going.
Meaning it knows everything that ever was, is, and ever will be, then it is responsible for all of the evil in the universe. Don't worry, I'll explain.
No.
So if you believe God exists, that means that you believe in a time where humans did not exist, because God had not yet created us. At that point in time, an all-knowing God would know for a fact that if it did create humans, they would be evil. Evil in air quotes because morality is actually subjective, but it knew that they would be awful to their planet, awful to other species.
Put a pause here. Wow, I love the clearest example of human evil is littering.
Oh, DD, oh, what it is, oh.
It's pollution. He doesn't say, the murder and the genocide and the cruelty and the betrayal. No. It's the littering. That's the bad thing.
You want to know why I pulled you over? Littering.
I'm freaking out, man.
He obviously has some confused premises here. Even to begin, think about the epistemological pride that one must have to think, I, some guy in the year of our Lord 2024, I've just discovered the flaw with religion, which is that bad things happen to good people. I've just discovered the flaw with religion, which is that there is such a thing as evil in the world. Oh, wow. Wow, man, that never occurred to me. That never occurred to any of the theologians for all of history, for all of the men who actually dedicated their lives to studying this and who were deeply faithful and shaped the faith. This never occurred to the author of the book of Job, for instance, or the author of the book of Genesis, for that matter. It's never occurred to anybody, right? If I'm this guy, and it occurs, I say, God is supposedly all good and all powerful and all knowing, and yet there is evil in the world. Well, what does that mean? Statistically, all the intelligent people ever have believed in God, and so is it possible that I am wrong, that I am missing something? No, it is the children who are out of touch.
Prove me wrong, kids.
Awful to other species on their planet. Awful to their own species, and arguably most importantly, awful to God, because they would break its precious little nonsensical rules. But God still—
Put a pause here. Nonsensical rules. That's interesting. Thou shalt not commit murder. Would you say that's a nonsensical rule? Probably not, probably. If this guy's saying there's all this evil, there are all these bad things that we do, well, then you're acknowledging there are rules and that the rules are sensible, that the rules are logical. So all of a sudden, the God that you're demeaning or attempting to demean as nonsensical and illogical, you're acknowledging is logical, has quite a lot of sense, infinite sense, you might say. So, which is it?
Here's an example to consider. If you knew, not guessed, not hypothesized, not assumed, but you knew undoubtedly, assuredly, 100% for a fact that if you had a child, that child would grow up to be a mass unaliver, and you still decided to have that child, you would be a terrible person.
You wouldn't be. I mean, he's confusing so many things. Even going back further, he says that humans are, sort of uniformly evil. That's not true.
You disgust me. How can you live with yourself? You sit on a throne of lies.
Human beings are not begotten by God. We are made. We are creatures made in the image and likeness of God. So that's a difference. Kind of like I can have a child. Well, I can't have a child, but my wife can have a child, and I can make a leftist tears tumbler. In a sense, those are both products that I have something to do with, but one is of me and the other is an artifact made by me. Now, He then says, if you knew somehow in advance that your baby were going to grow up to be a mass murderer, you would be a bad person if you didn't murder your baby. That's taking a lot of assumptions. That's assuming a consequentialist kind of ethics, a utilitarian style ethics, which I think would be unfounded because you'd be committing murder, which I think this guy already admitted, implicitly or explicitly, is wrong, right? At least implicitly, he's admitting that murder is wrong. So you would be a very bad person if you did murder your baby. Lots of ethical confusion here in this guy's diatribe. Keep going. There's so much more to say. First, though, go to helixsleep.com/Knowles. I have loved my Helix mattress for years. It is truly the gift that keeps on giving. If you've not already checked out the Helix Elite Collection, you need to. Helix harnesses years of mattress expertise to offer a truly elevated sleep experience. The Helix Elite Collection includes 6 different mattress models, each tailored for specific sleep positions and firmness preferences. If you are nervous about buying a mattress online, you don't have to be. Helix has a sleep quiz that matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress. Plus, Helix has a 10-year warranty, and you can try it out for 100 nights risk-free. They'll even pick it up for you if you don't love it, but you will. Helix's financing options and flexible payment plans ensure a great night's sleep is never far away. Helix is offering my listeners 30% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows. Go to helixsleep.com/Knowles, Knowles. That is helixsleep.com/Knowles. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now.
So, since God knew it was bringing evil into the universe, and it decided to do it anyway, God is evil. Oh, and if you think the free will excuse gets God out of this one, you're wrong, because free will is incompatible with an all-knowing God. If God is omniscient, then it knows how we're going to...
Put a pause here. It's just, the only thing that's really astounding about this video is the pride. I guess I don't peruse Reddit nearly enough, because this type of Reddit tier atheism, I sort of forgot existed. It's one thing to be an atheist. You just can't get yourself to believe in God. I think that speaks to an intellectual and certainly a spiritual defect. To offer these kinds of arguments, what that reveals is not just that you don't believe in God, it reveals that you've never even really taken the question seriously, because you've never read any of the people who can explain these answers to you. You're making arguments that are so dumb at a very elemental level that even the prominent atheists wouldn't make them. What this man is expressing here is not, you know, I don't believe in God. I've grappled with the question and I don't believe in God. He's saying, I haven't even cracked the spine of a book to begin investigating this. Keep going.
If God is omniscient, then it knows how we're going to act in advance. Everything that we do has to align with God's foreknowledge, meaning that our free will is actually just an illusion. Either God is all-knowing or we have free will. Both cannot simultaneously be true, and this argument supposes the former over the latter.
So put a pause here. God is outside of time and space, except when he enters into time and space. And so God being outside of time and space and being all-knowing would not contradict man, who is within time and space, having free will. Because God does not, see the future exactly. He sees all at once. So there's no contradiction here.
The only way that the free will excuse actually works here is if God is not all-knowing. So, if you're willing to admit that your God is not as powerful as you ascribed it to be, then, and only then, will the free will excuse be applicable. But again, this video was about a God that is all-knowing. On that note, I'm going to be over here being good without God, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.
None is good without God, and none is good but God, actually, to quote God.
Can I get an amen up in this?
The point that he makes on God creating mankind, even knowing that man would fall, is the nearest thing to an interesting point that he makes. So what does that mean? It could mean one of two things. It can mean that God made a mistake, which is not possible. Or it can mean that a world of incarnation and atonement is actually better than the world without the fall. It could mean, as Christians sing on Easter, that the fall was actually a happy fault. Oh, happy fault that won for us so great, so glorious a Redeemer. That's our show. I'm Michael Knowles. This is The Michael Knowles Show. See you tomorrow.